That's something.
Buy a new tire, brother.
Are we rich now, Kojo?
Come on, let's go inside.
Look, hey, Emmanuel's forgotten about America. Does he still want to run away?
We all do.
Think, Kingsley. You've got the cash now. For bribes, food, a place to live while you find work. Now is the time.
It would buy 1,000 US.
It's enough to stop a child starving.
For a year. Or 2.
Wow, sweet memories. I remember when I first watched this movie and I said, who is this woman? So admirable. Her delivery, the way she acts, on point. And I'm honored to have her here today. My studio audience are here. And yes, studio audience, just like we always do, when our guest is coming, we usher them in, right? So let's do it the changes way. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome the one and only Asante of the movie industry, Juliet Asante. We have to meet you with that.
Good to be here.
How many of you used to watch her when you were young? You all did. How old were you when you first saw her on TV? 6 years, right?
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. That's how much of an icon you are. And watching that movie, Deadly Voyage, just seeing it right now, I saw you were quite moved.
Mm-hmm.
How old were you when you shot that movie?
I don't really remember, but I think I was 18, 19, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, around that, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it was about my second movie. I had done Inspector Bediakon. I'd gone to do Twin Lovers. And then when I came back, they were auditioning for that, and I went for the auditions.
And just like that, you got the role?
Yeah, and everybody who was everybody at the time was there. And so I didn't think I had a hope because I was a young girl starting out. But yeah, I got the role.
Wow.
It was quite the journey, but you know, yeah.
That's beautiful. Now, we want to know how you've managed to stay on top because you started with a lot of people. Some of them are of blessed memory. Others who are even still alive are not even in the industry and doing as well as you are doing. You face a lot of challenges, but you're still where you are. Like, you are high. We call you as one of the top notch in our film industry. Tell us about how you've done it.
Well, first of all, I'm one, and I'm going to say this because there's a lot of young people here, and I love to, you know, speak to young people. The thing is to find what you love doing. And I think I was lucky, even though nobody in my family was in the creative space. Well, my family is very creative, but nobody was acting. But my parents kind of gave me the go-ahead. And so I was lucky in that I found what I loved doing. I was passionate about it. I was committed to it. I went to school and educated myself on it. And then I found a way to make money out of it. You know, and the thing is, I always say that life is so long. You fall down so many times, and you need that thing that will, you know, wake you up and keep you going. And then you keep a free heart. You keep letting things go. And I think when you do that, generally, things go well.
Things are definitely going well. Let's talk about your highs since you started this journey.
Right.
How old were you when you first went on TV?
17.
17.
Yeah, and I'm turning 50 this year. So how many?
My gosh! How come your skin is so flawless? Please, is there any secret to it?
No, I drink a lot of water.
Mind your business.
And I let things go.
50.
Yeah, I'm 50 in October.
Do people
so
get
I'm
surprised when you tell them that?
Yeah, you know, and of course, because I've been doing this for quite a while, because now it's 30-something years, so I meet people, and through that time, I've done so much, including lecture and all of those things. So sometimes I meet my students who are way older than me, because I taught at Accra Poly for a while. And they'll go like, you taught me, and I'm like, did I? Oh my God, you know, so yeah, and so it feels like I've been doing this forever. Yeah. But when you drill deep, there's so much you can do in the space. So I've kind of traversed through, you know, many of the spaces within the space. So I keep, you know, when I get bored with one thing, I go do another thing. So I started before the camera, of course, moved to behind the camera, started directing, producing, writing. I write as well.
So you were a camera woman?
I'm a director.
Okay.
And I write.
Okay.
But I can do camera. I can edit. I can do all of those things.
You can do everything.
I can do all of those things.
And you act.
And I act as well, even though I haven't done that.
1,000.
Yeah. But you see, it's so interesting, right? Like when I write, and I don't write often, script writing, and my last film that I did, I wrote it, and my next is ready, and I wrote that as well. I love to write because I'm always, you know, I'm observant, and I pick up stories. Like from here today, I'll pick up a story, 1 or 2 stories.
Please write about us, change it.
I hear you.
Right?
Yeah. Right, and then at some point, of course, you know, when you've been in the space for a while, you get to see what is not right. So I wanted to help fix what the issues were and why we were not growing as a sector. So I decided to go back to school and learn public policy and public administration and go into the policy part of things. And when I'm done, I'll go back and do my films again.
So you're still in school?
No, actually in 2011 is when I went back to school to do public policy and public administration. And that, but it was an intentional thing for me. You know, I thought, if I try to do anything now or fix anything, nobody will listen. So let me go back, get the skill sets. Let me even understand the space. And so I went to the Harvard Kennedy School. I kind of graduated with a master's in that and came back and kind of got myself into the space and proudly set up, you know, the National Film Authority. And we are 4 years now.
You've done so well.
Thanks.
So well. So well. So now let's talk about, you know, earlier I asked you a question, but unfortunately we had to take a different turn a little bit, but we are coming back to it. The story of resilience.
Right.
How you've managed to stay on top all these years. We need to know, because in that movie industry, we are hearing stories that there are juju, there's this, there's all of that. So what's your story?
What's my story? I don't know about the juju part. What I do know is that there are a lot of passionate people. And obviously, sometimes it feels like the space is small. And so people feel like, for me to do well, the other person doesn't have to do well. So, but then it's a mentality that I think we all have as a country and as a continent. And especially even when you come to women, you know, and being a woman in the space. So there are all of these issues. And then if you're a woman too, then someone will say, if you're a woman and you're confident, you are arrogant. But if you're not a woman, then you are, you know, firm, or you know what you want and stuff like that. So there are those issues, many of those. So there are many, many issues, I must admit. There's a lot of tension, fighting. You know, people don't train. And I'm always an advocate for training. Actually, at a point, I used to have a school, an acting school. And quite a few of the people in the space now, some of them went through that school as well. So there are many, many problems, but I think training is important.
Right.
And that's probably one of the most secure ways you can rise. You know, sometimes when you study the life of people who are doing well globally, you find that even those you think are big, with every project, they
Yeah.
train themselves, you
Okay.
know, to do that project. Because characterization and embedding a character is so, it's such a tough job. But here, people kind of think, oh, I was born with this, you know, with the talent. It's not like that. And so from one role to the other, the person is playing themselves. And so you see the same person in every role.
Right.
After a while, people get fed up with you a little bit because you are the same person when you are a mother, you are the same person when you are a sister, you are the same person when you are an auntie, and you are not taking the time to study the character that you're playing. You're not taking the time to immerse yourself in the story. And so people kind of, after a while, people get fed up with them. Also, that means also that you may not be growing. And then there are other factors, you know, other factors like the lack of funding in the space. Don't take me into the policy talk. Otherwise, I'll start talking about all that. But, you know,
I definitely will have to ask
struggle.
you a little bit about it because currently the movie industry is struggling a little bit. It's not even a little, it's struggling. Where's Ghana movie now?
Yeah.
You know, when was the last time we produced a movie that would say that we've even won international awards? It's a struggle. So let's talk about the policies.
You want to jump right into that?
Let's go into it.
Wow. I mean, you know, they say be the change you want to see. And I certainly said to myself, I'm going to put 10 to 15 years of my life down and try and fix what I have struggled with. And after that, I can comfortably step aside and hopefully the next person coming behind me will not struggle that much. And so, you know, Ghana didn't used to have a film authority or a film commission. We used to have the Ghana Film Corporation that was sold because our leaders perhaps didn't understand the benefits or the opportunity of the space because maybe we didn't represent ourselves well. And there are other factors. I won't go into that. But you see, sometimes as well, as an industry, I mean, if you want to do tomato business, you go and buy your own farm, your own land, you plant your thing, you look for your distribution and all that. It's a business, so you're doing a business. The creative space, in as much as the creative space sells us and sells the country and needs funding, government support, we also have a responsibility because it's a business. So we need to tackle it as a business.
Right.
And a business means that if you're starting any business, and I say this because I've done business my whole life, right? If you're starting any business, you have to do research.
Right.
You have to understand the market. You probably have to have buyers. And then you go to an investor and you'll be like, if you give me 1 CD, or if you give me 10,000, I'm going to do this. I'm going to sell it here, here, here. And this is how I'm going to succeed. I'm going to have this character or this person who everybody knows. I'm going to go to this market, blah, blah, blah. And then when I'm done, I will give you your 10,000 plus another 5,000 of interest. And then the investor will perhaps believe you, love your project, and put money in.
Right.
I think in Ghana, sometimes we struggle with that a bit, with the business, making the business case. So that is one. And because we are not making the business case, and of course, the markets are not there. And so we cannot take responsibilities for that, right? When I was growing up, there used to be cinemas around.
Right.
There were
And we
long
don't really
queues.
see them like
now
that.
they're all churches. All the buildings are churches.
Fact.
And then, you know, some of them have also falling into disarray. So if I do my film, where am I going to sell my film? So you can talk about the lack of funding, that's investments, the lack of government support being a big factor. I mean, even my office being set up has been a struggle, right?
Let's talk about the struggle of you setting up in your office.
Right.
You actually had a lot of objections coming from big people.
Right.
Who are they? Oh, you don't want to tell us?
Well, I don't know. You see, the thing is, say we are all going to Makola, right? Somebody can go through Kaneshi. Somebody can go through, say, Medina. Somebody can go through Nungwa. We can all end up at Kaneshi, right? Then sometimes there's at Makola. And then sometimes someone will be like, oh, why are you taking Medina Road? Because I want to take Circle or Carnation. Why are you not taking Circle or Carnation? And then that can be a fight. Because forgetting that the objective is for us, all of us, to get to Makola.
Right.
So I think those have been some of the issues. I mean, we have people who are passionate. We have people who know or have ideas of what should be done. But you see, there can only be one master on the ship. And obviously, if somebody is well prepared or has the skill sets to do it, sometimes you have to give the person the chance to do it. And so I think when we started, also because there were so many issues and we're all anxious and everybody...
most of them felt they should rather start it and not you?
That also, you know, but I mean, I'm not going to speak to that because, you know, hey, it's like we go for an audition, we all go for an audition, like the way you showed Deadly Voyage and I got the part. I mean, you can argue from here to high heavens as to why you didn't get the part, but the point is that I got the part because maybe I'm better than you, maybe better than you in my ideas, better than you in my training, better than you in how I project, better than you in delivery. And so I get the role. And then when you get the role, a lot of people, instead of supporting you to move forward because we all are going to Makola, then there's infighting.
What about the gender issue? Was that also a factor?
I cannot say that's not a factor because obviously, you know, I've been a businesswoman, I've been an educator, I've been a social entrepreneur, I've been an advocate, I've been all of those things. And those things mean that you have to, your voice has to be heard. And not too many people are comfortable with women who are able to project and be confident and are educated. And I'm very educated. You know, I'm proud to say I'm not going to shy away from that. And to be in this space,
you have
sometimes...
how many masters, though?
Two.
Two masters? Yes,
and sometimes to be, and I have two degrees too, as well. And sometimes to be in this space, you know, you have to be super intelligent. Unfortunately, in our country, we think that it's people who don't make it that are in this space. It's not like that at all. Everybody in this space is filled with people who are extremely intelligent and as well are creative. And to be creative, you have to tap into your God source. And so creative people are, for me, I always say creative people are God on earth because God is a creator. And to be creative, you have to tap into your God self. So this space is filled with, you know, so many beautiful, educated, talented, fantastic people, you know? Thank you for that, you know. But we all can't steer the ship, you know. One person has to. And proudly, you know, one of the things I'm very happy about is that I have a father who never said to me, because you're a woman, you can't do this. You know, he always said to me, you can do whatever you want to do. You can follow whichever dream you want to follow. And so, you know, I just kind of went ahead understanding. And also when I got into the industry, I got some really good mentors, Mr. Abekwe being one of them. And Mr. Abekwe also was very supportive and be like, you can do whatever you want to do, go out and do it. And so I just went out and did it. And most importantly, I'm having fun with it.
That's good.
And that's it.
That is what it's supposed to be. Yeah. Now, let's talk about, you know, the roles that you played in different movies. Which is your favorite role?
Do I have a favorite role? I don't know if I have a favorite role yet. I loved all my roles that I played in different movies. And I haven't acted for a while, I must say. I think since 2010 or so, because when I did my last film, I directed. I didn't act in it. But maybe in my next I will act. So I wouldn't say I have a favorite role. Maybe Twin Lovers, because I was starting out and it was such a big role. And I was overwhelmed and I was starry-eyed and I was learning and I was like, oh my God, what is this? What is this? And it also propelled me and gave me the confidence to go ahead and do Deadly Voyage and other films. And then also from that, I was on TV for a while, also presenting, doing what you're doing and all of those. And so, yeah.
Great.
Now the best is yet to come.
the best is, I
The
love
best
that.
is
The
yet
best
to come.
is yet to come. I want us to take a look at this movie.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, you know, I've done a lot for you. You are now the boss of the house, and everything here belongs to you. Now, if Bentu decides not to come back, he forfeits everything.
Yeah. And I shall also send Joe to study abroad.
And come back to be a doctor.
No, a lawyer.
Oh, I see. Daba, the thing. What I told you about.
Oh, the money?
Exactly.
Oh, right. Excuse me, I'll be back soon.
Okay.
This deserves a big round of applause.
We're taking you down the memory lane.
I didn't even. Where did you guys find this movie?
Oh, that's why we are Joy Prime.
Oh my God.
And
Yeah.
we must say this is one of your best roles.
Oh,
yeah. We've loved you since back in the day, and we still
oh
love
my
you
God.
today.
You know, you've taken me down memory lane. I don't even, you know, that time we were using, is it VHS? And
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
So even storage wasn't that great. And we didn't have, what we have now, all the social media and all of that. So sometimes you even struggle to get your old stuff to watch. So this really has taken me down memory lane. Thank you.
So now let's talk about the support system. Of course, you couldn't have done this alone.
Right.
What has kept you going? Who are your support system?
Myself, first of all. I'm internally motivated, so that's first. Obviously, I have a family. I have children, and my entire family. I have great friends, and I always try and build a team around me. And and discipline is also very important to be able to keep on going. But I want to go back to what I said in the beginning. You always have to find what you love doing. And so what I do, I love what I'm doing so much that if you didn't pay me to do it, I'll still do it. In fact, when I got this role for about 2 to 3 years, I wasn't paid and I was still doing it. I run the office from my home and I still use my home as my main office. And, I'm still doing it because I love it and I'm committed to it and I'm committed to making a difference. And so I think that if you're looking for anything to do and if you're talking about resilience and keep going at what you want to do, I mean, I can see that you love what you're doing. The joy when you came in studio, the joy, the way you lit up, the way you express yourself and all of that, when you entered, the way you walked and all that, it all shows that you love what you're doing. And I think when you love what you're doing, and so if I'm supposed to talk about resilience, there's nothing magical, is attention to detail, the small things, encouraging yourself, speaking to yourself, praying, which is important. I'm not a religious person, so I'm not going to go on about going to church. Whatever makes you connect with your Creator, use that.
Right.
And that's very important. And believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself, yeah.
Somebody might think your most difficult time was when you lost your husband.
Right.
Was that the time?
He was not my husband.
Okay.
We were divorced.
Right.
So that's some of the misinformation that is out there.
And it keeps going out there like that.
Going, oh, we were divorced for 2 years.
Okay.
So, he was not my husband, but he was certainly the father of my child.
Okay.
And so it was very difficult, especially also because people didn't know we were divorced, and people, so many stories went around that were not true. I mean, sometimes I hear some of the stories going around about me, or sometimes there was a time I was actually sitting somewhere and someone was sitting talking about me, saying how they knew me so well, and I was sitting right behind them and I didn't know them and they didn't know me. Wow. And they were going on, and I was like, wow, who is that? Is that me? You know? But that, you know, you kind of get used to that when you are in the public space. I always say that to be in the public space since I was 17 going on 50, I mean, you've kind of seen, heard it all. So definitely it was a difficult time.
What did you hear that time that surprised you the most?
Some of it, if I tell you, your lunch will go bad, so I won't tell you. But
just a little bit.
You know, people kind of blamed me.
That you killed him?
Things like that. When I didn't even know where that was coming from. People had stories. And, you know, it is not an easy thing for a woman to decide to step out of a marriage at any point. It's not an easy decision. Yeah. So there must have been mitigating factors, extremely, you know, difficult factors. And so you are dealing with that. You are dealing with the fact that you're a single parent. You are dealing with the fact that you are in the public space and everybody is talking and everybody has a thought about your life and how you must live and how you are and all of those things. So all of those things mixed together, potpourri in the, you know, and then I must say this, he was really a great man. We had a great friendship, and I think the friendship even carried after the divorce. So you've also lost a friend, and you are dealing with all that. And so it was a truly difficult time. But I have lived many lives in one lifetime. So I can't say it was the most difficult thing that I have. It was one of the most difficult things, but every aspect of my life, including that aspect when I was married, and other aspects of my life, I always say if I had to change anything, I wouldn't change anything. Because, you know, because everything has worked together finally to make me who I am. So your mistakes, your journeys, your difficulties, your challenges, your wins and all that, they all make you who you are. So why are you going to regret the mistake that you made or the, you know, the success that you had? So you have to own it. You know, so I always say that I am all of me. The good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful.
And we love you for that.
Thank you.
Anybody has questions? Do we have the microphone so that we can ask our questions? Yes. Last week, we didn't ask question, and I was nearly beaten.
Oh, my gosh.
Questions, why did you let me ask? Please go ahead and ask your question, darling. Your name first.
Please, I'm Miss Elizabeth. And my question is, there have been a lot of myths about the film industry.
Right.
Yeah, so most of our parents doesn't allow us to take that path.
Yeah.
So please, can you clear some of the myths for us?
Yeah. Some of the myth is that you won't make money. But this is the space, you know, when I started out, I wanted to be a lawyer. And everybody thought I was going to be a lawyer or an interior decorator or an architect or something like that. But I just happened to, at the time, my family went through difficulties. And so my parents couldn't support my legal dream. I always think it's a blessing that that happened, even though at the time I thought it was the biggest wrong to have happened to me. With time, I've come to find that it was the biggest thing the greatest thing that happened for me, right? And this space has supported me up to date, with nothing else, just this space. You can do whatever you want to do in this space. So people have a lot of misconception. You won't make money, you'll be spoiled, bad company, all of those things. Bad company is everywhere, including the banks. You know, you can even fall into trouble bigger there, you know. And so this is what I say. Right now, the space is one of the biggest and fastest growing, is where you can make money very easily, is where, so if you love it and you feel you are drawn to it, talk to your parents, give them data to prove to them that, look, show them people who are doing well. And I think if they are confident in who you are and love their child and believe in you, they'll give you the go ahead.
Wow. We'll be reading messages very soon. So if you haven't sent your message yet, you have to send it now. It's 055-157-5757. 055-157-5757. Hey, 055-157-5757. Send your messages to us. I'll take one more question from the audience. Yes.
I'm Starbright, and my question is, talking about parents' issues, sometimes the parents bring up some ideas saying that when you get into these industries, you end up becoming a bad person, like bringing up with dread, tattooing yourself, so they don't allow their kids to go into such industries. And also, we have little ones who are trying to become actors and actresses, but they are not getting the upper hands to help them get to wherever they want to get to. What is the industry doing about these things?
I don't know if the industry is the one to do something about it, but you know, I have dreadlocks. I've always had. I was one of the few people who started dreadlocks.
Yeah.
But then I'm also, it doesn't mean I'm a bad person. You know, my children are educated, very well educated I am. I think I hold up myself well. So I think that perception is changing in society. And of course, I've gone on, like I was saying, gone on being in the space, even now in policy and all that. So I think it's a misconception, but I think it is changing. So the way you carry yourself to your parents is also important. You know, there's a saying, when they say, let's say money spoils someone, they would tell you, money doesn't spoil anyone, it only brings out your character.
Yep.
And so if you are naturally someone who is not disciplined, then maybe if you find yourself in the space, maybe you'll be more indisciplined. But if you're somebody who is disciplined, then if you find yourself in the space, then you will be disciplined as well. The second part of your question was...
what is the industry doing to help?
What the industry is doing about it, and I said the industry can't do anything about it by yourself. But you see, the thing is, when you were talking, you mentioned actress, actors, which is great. That's what is in front of the camera. Remember, there's so much more to the film space. Even when it comes to the film space down the value chain, there's so many businesses. Even when it comes to shooting a film, for instance, we are here, you're seeing me and Madame on stage, but there's a cameraman, there's a sound man, there's a, you know, probably a carpenter somewhere, electrician somewhere, there's a designer, there's a makeup artist. So I'm saying all this to say there's so much you can do in the film space beyond act, right? You don't have to be an actor. You can be a cinematographer. You can be a writer. Some of the spaces, some of the skill sets that we need, we don't have enough script writers. We don't have enough directors. We don't have enough sound engineers and sound people. We don't have enough lighting people. We don't have all of these things, designers, stage design. Today I'm going to go and visit, God willing, Props Heaven. Props Heaven is a designer. He's made it into a business where he's supplying props to films that come and shoot. So there's so many businesses down the value chain. You have to educate yourself and find out what exactly or where you want to fit. Someone sent me a message on social media today telling me they want to get into the film space, asking for advice. And I asked them one question. Have you checked out, say, the national NAFTI? I used to be the board chair of NAFTI. And he said no. And I thought, okay, but you want to be in the film space, you could have done research. Now there's Google. You could have just researched. Training spaces in Ghana, you would have known, but you had to come on social media and ask me to come and tell you about NAFTI. And so you have to do the work yourself. Yeah. Sometimes I think recently I was having a conversation with someone and we're talking about the way that because there's so much available to us now, sometimes we become lazy. But you should use what is available to you. The internet is there. Educate yourself. You can even, now if you want to get into the space, you don't even have to go to school. You can, educate yourself online. YouTube is the biggest educator. Coursera. True. All of these things are there. You can use it. And there's a saying, if you want to make a film, just do it. Or live life. You can pick a camera, your phone. You can start to make content. And before you realize, you are, if you want to go talk to your parents, you show them something. Look at what I've done. You can put it on YouTube and monetize it. And before you realize you're making money. So, you know, barriers to entry in the space is really low. But if you don't do the work, nobody is going to do it for you.
Very true. And you're still watching Changes, of course. Our guest is the Asante of the Ghana film industry, and she is Juliet Asante. It's time for us to read your messages, and after that, we'll take you into the world of entertainment. Guess who is here today? Nana Kwame Lambe. Hello, Nana.
Hey, Rosalind, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay.
You look good. You look fly.
I copy you small.
My audience wants to know if you're single.
I'm not, actually.
Oh. Oh. And the fine girls were all like, we weren't you?
But I have single friends, so I can.
Okay, all right. On that note, it's okay. Please take us away, Nana.
All right, so I'm here to read a few messages here on the screen. We've been asking people to send their messages to us on the WhatsApp number, and I'm trying to open the messages. So this one says, how do you think our parents' involvement in the movie industry will impact your own career aspirations, especially if they don't want to? So this is a question to Miss Juliet Asante. Before I even say anything, I'm a big fan.
I know, right?
I am a big fan. I mean, I've called her a few times on radio as a producer. I don't really know our faces anyway. So I am a big fan. Her exuberance, her strength. You know, when women are in the space, it's quite, people feel like they're not really supposed to be there and all that. But I'm a big fan. And I just want to say it's a pleasure to meet her today. So this is a question to you. How do our parents involve, how do you think our parents' involvement in the movie industry will impact your own career aspirations, especially if they don't want you to? And there's another message here. This one says, hi, good afternoon, Rosenfeli. You're looking absolutely stunning.
Thank you.
Well, my name is Moriska from the University of Ghana, and I see, I'm your biggest fan. Please don't you think we should change faces in the movie industry and allow the young ones to also explore? So these are some of the questions coming in for you.
Brilliant.
Well, and so my full name is actually Juliet Asante.
Yes.
You know, but sometimes people think that Asante is a separate thing. So I just wanted to make that I'm born on a Thursday.
Yeah.
So, and my parents.
And that's why you actually Asante.
I don't know about that.
She's a true Asante.
I don't know about that.
Yes.
She's somebody I admire, and we have the same birthday. So, I'm blessed. I'm blessed, you know. So I'm blessed, but, I don't know about that. But the question about how do you say that again?
Involve our parents.
Yes, involvement of parents.
Involvement of parents. So, So, I mean, it's interesting. Let me say this, I watch a lot of K-dramas, right? Why are you laughing? I love K-dramas. And a lot of parents watch K-dramas. I have many, many friends who are parents who watch K-dramas. And they seem to be okay with K-dramas because obviously everything looks good, the dressing is good, whatever, it looks good, it's eye candy and all. And sometimes they forget that what we are also trying to achieve here, maybe it's a low-budget K-drama, thing that we are trying to achieve. Maybe we haven't gotten there, but eventually what they are watching on TV, what they love so much on TV, even that phenomenon of people bringing foreign soaps and speaking Chi on it that people love so much, is also what we are trying to do here. And so I think that at the end of the day, it's about quality.
Right.
And people are afraid for their children to get into the space because they think there's no future, they think the presentation is not right, all of those things. And they are right to think that. But I think if I had the platform, and perhaps there may be some parents watching me today, I'll say to you, things have changed. We are doing the work. K-drama wasn't built in a day. And so give us the chance and give your child the chance, especially if they love it. And let's all talk about, let's all get involved in the space. I mean, you've asked this question, so I'm assuming you are all interested in the space. Do you know there are film festivals in the space? One just finished, Accra, Independent Film Festival. Do you know about it? Did you go? Did you take pictures? Did you ask questions? I'm the founder of the Black Star International Film Festival. It's going to be happening in September. You should attend. So find out what's happening in the space. There's so many other things happening in the space. And then you can take pictures, you can write, you can prove to your parents that they shouldn't be afraid. I think the biggest factor is fear.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be afraid. Right. And then go and look for the numbers. This space is the largest employer on the continent, right? It's the largest employer of young people. So when we all begin to get interested in the space, talk about it, and demand what we don't like, talk about what we don't like. So if a film comes out, someone said this once, sometimes when you go on social media, films come out from around the world, and we are talking about it, but when Ghanaian films come out, we don't talk about it.
That's a sad thing.
Talk about it. If you don't like it, talk about it.
Yeah.
Say what you don't like about it. If you like it, talk about it. Eventually, when we talk about it enough, I think perceptions will begin to turn around.
Right. Anyway, Nana Kwame, please take us into the world of entertainment.
All right, so I'm actually glad that Juliet Asante is here because two of my stories are from the world of movies. So
okay.
I want to start with Van Vika. Van Vika has been in the news for some of the, I don't know whether wrong or right reasons. So I want to give you a backstory to why he's trending. So we all know Lil Wayne has a movie out. It's called A Country Called Ghana.
Yeah.
And we all heard about the ups and downs and how he got the movie together and all that. Now, a few weeks ago, Lil Wayne was in the studios of Hits FM and he mentioned that the person supposed to play the lead role in that movie was actually a Ghanaian. We all know the lead role in the movie is now being played by Ramsey Noah.
Yes.
So he mentioned that he didn't give any names. He mentioned that it was supposed to be a Ghanaian and explained why he wasn't there on the set and had to bring Ramsey Noah to come and play that movie. Now, he said that the Ghanaian actor was supposed to be on set for like 1 month. But the Ghanaian actor claimed that he couldn't do 1 month. He wanted to do 10 days.
Okay.
So now we all know who the Ghanaian actor is. The Ghanaian actor is Van Vika. Yes, and he's been reacting to it, saying that he didn't understand why he asked for 10 days. He didn't get the chance to be on the movie for 10 days, but Ramsey Noah did 10 days on the set. So let's listen to what Van Vika had to say about that.
Let's listen.
Did they approach you and I said, what happened? Oh yeah, as a matter of fact, what's his name? Fifi Frangabe. He called me. I think he directed the film. So he called me. He wants me to play in the movie. The role Ramsey played. To be in that movie. And I said, fine. When are we shooting? How long is it going to take? Because I was in school. And he said, okay, he'll get back to me. Got back to me. He says the producer says they need me for 1 month. I said, 1 month, say. 1 full month. What are we filming? You know what I mean? So and you should know also that with all actors, the more days you require, the more fees I will charge. So the earlier you finish with the actor for him to go, the less you spend. So you need me for 1 month. We are sure say 1 month. You sure 1 month? Okay, but even that, I'm in school, so 1 month here. I can't do the work yet. But what I can do 10 days.
10 days. And if you continue watching the video, he added that what shocked him or what surprised him was that Ramsey Noah also came to the country.
And it's 10 days.
10 days. So I have a question for Auntie Juliet. Auntie Juliet. I don't know whether I'm allowed to say Auntie Juliet.
Please go ahead.
Auntie Juliet. Are we not our own enemies in this industry, really? Because if you could do 10 days and you gave Ramsey Noah 10 days, why did you just go ahead and use Van Vika for the movie?
Well, I can't answer for the filmmaker, that's for sure. But I'll say that maybe it was understanding and negotiations. Everything is about understanding and negotiations. So I'm sure, he mentioned that he's in school. And sometimes also it's experience in the sense of maybe they've done other films and maybe now they thought that they could do for longer. So I'm thinking there's so many things that impacted the decision. I don't want to sit here without understanding what made the decision and jump into it. there are different classes of actors. I'm not saying they are in different classes. I'm not saying that. But obviously as well, when you are flying someone into the country, that has its own challenges and limitations. Right. And you might want to rush with that person for the person to go. And you may even reduce the number of scenes. So I don't even know whether the scenes were the same, whether they were spread out the same. So it's possible that he did a shooting schedule, thought he was going to shoot for 1 month, so said, I want 1 month. And then later maybe even looked at his own funding and circumstances and decided that he was reducing the shooting days to 10 days. It's possible. Yeah. And then because the negotiations didn't go right the first time, maybe he didn't go back to the actor then to say, hey, I'm coming down to 10 months. Would you like to reconsider? Yeah. So many things actually, contribute to these decisions, and I don't think I'm the right person to sit here and say why and why not something was done. But the decision was made, and people will regret, and some people will be happy, and that's it.
All right, so I'm going to read a few messages that came because of this particular story that I did. So this one is from Andrano Cosmos. It says, now you have seen it with your own eyes, how the movie is trending and topping charts. So those people who advise you to boycott your help and support for a brother and a fellow colleague have also understood that human can never be God. So stop complaining and let Kojo be. So this is a message from Andrano Cosmos. Now, Sandusa Bo Naba says, Ramsey carries better mileage and a stronger brand than Van Vicker. If I'm supposed to choose between the two for 10 days work, I would obviously follow Lewin's footsteps. This is business. You are either in or you are out. Why were you following the job after refusing the proposal? If you are in school, concentrate on your studies. Quality Angesica Futro says they wanted a good work, so they wanted to use 1 month. Now you said you can't. They called another, and he accepted. And he stayed and attended the premiering. So what was he expecting? So he wanted Lil Wayne to use 1 week, so he would bring out those. Some of the comments, forgive me. Those projects. He did what he was supposed to do, so nothing like exposed, okay? So these are some of the messages that we have here. Okay. Ejruwa Ofuswa says he even looked down on Lil Wayne because you think he can't pay you for good 1 month. Hey, Kobe Bini. Let me just read this last one. Nasai says, I don't understand Ghanaian actors. When their colleagues need them, they start to flex and ask for unnecessary demands. The person said he needs you for 1 month, and you said 1 month will cost when you are not the one paying. So Ghanaians are sharing their thoughts on what Ramsey Noah, what Van Vicker said about the movie A Country Called Ghana.
Right. Nana Kwame Lobby, thank you so much for being here. Nana Kwame will be back on Friday. Y'all love Nana Kwame, don't you? Now give him a round of applause. That's how we do it right here. We'll see you again on Friday.
All right.
Juliet, thank you so much for being here.
It's been
lovely.
lovely.
Young ones are watching. Your advice before you leave.
My advice, I think I've said it all, but take time and find what you love. I can't say this enough, right? Find what is it that you get up and you want to do, even when you don't have money, you haven't eaten. What is it that when you're doing, you forget to eat? If you think about it, you find that thing, right? That you love doing so much that you forget to eat, you get energy for and all of that. And then think about how can you make money out of that thing, right? And if you want to get into the film space, there's so many things you can do. Go online, educate yourself, convince your parents. I convinced my parents over 30 years ago, and your parents are younger, potentially younger than my parents. Well, my parents are very open-minded. Okay. So I would say very open-minded, artistic and all that. Okay. So maybe it was easier than most. But I can't say it. I had to prove to them that I knew what I wanted to do, and I also didn't fail them. So you have to build the confidence and pursue your dreams. Life is long. Life is not short. Remember that. Life is long. So any decision you take, remember that it will stay with you for a long time.
Very long time. Thank you so much, Juliet Yasantua Asante, the Yasantua of our movie industry. And we have been blessed. We have been inspired, and you are a phenomenal woman. We celebrate you. We honor you. Thank you once again.
Thank you, and I appreciate you inviting me to your show.
You're most welcome. We'll try and call you again. But wait, let me ask this before we go. When are you joining politics, mainstream politics? On that note, we have a lot more for you. You don't want to miss it. We are going to be barbering hair, and of course, Keche will be joining us as well. Do stay with us. We'll be right back.